Barry, midway through Sebring 2014, we've had a chance to do a little bit of flying on a very nice day yesterday, although we're having to deal with the less warm aspects of Florida today. Had a very nice flight with you yesterday. The flight to Bristell was kind of one of those deals where you meet the pretty girl and find out she's got a great personality. Tell me more about what the plans are right now for the airplane, what you've learned from being in the market for the last year, and what we can expect.
One of the main things we found out is most of the buyers now out there are private pilots. They have medicals. They're buying an airplane that they plan to keep for 10, 15, 20 years. They want to go ahead and have something that later they will be able to fly without a medical, but they want to have something that's sporty enough, got all the newest technology in it. So we're seeing more of a touring type buyer out there. So what we did is we went ahead and put the 10-inch Dynon or 10-inch Advanced Flight Systems EFISs in there with the built-in comms, built-in Mode-S transponders, and both of them come with a built-in autopilot as standard equipment on the airplane now. Also have this year the BRS parachute as a standard option, and leather seats is a standard option. And it's because that's the kind of buyer that seems to be out there. So right now we're at about $156,000 price, which is on the high end, and we're aware of that. But with $156,000, the only thing that's not included in that price is the sales tax in your state. That includes delivery. I'll either train the pilot or the student pilot or their CFI. And then I'll also have a good long talk with their maintenance guy. And that comes from experience I had with other manufacturers where if somebody from the factory or from the importer showed up and gave them kind of an indoctrination, a 2 or 3 day introduction to what was going on, we really had fewer accidents, we had fewer maintenance problems, and it made the customers a lot more comfortable with their airplane to the fact that they weren't nervous and always calling to find out, how can I do so-and-so, how can I get this, how can I do that, trying to anticipate problems and really kind of calling more than they needed to. Now we leave them with a comfortable feeling so that they are aware where they can get service, they're aware where they can get support, and that's very important for the new buyer. And they're typically guys who are owning Lexuses and Lincolns, and they're used to that kind of service when they go get their car service. So we're trying to, as much as we can, offer that kind of a feeling for them because it's a comfortable feeling for them. The aircraft we're going to offer this year is also going to have another feature that some people have really been asking for. They wanted a little crisper roll rate, even though the roll rate is quite nice right now. They wanted a little bit shorter wing, so we're going to go shorten the wing by about 3 feet, 1.5 feet each side, and that'll make the roll rate a little crisper. Makes our stall speed come up about 2 or 3 knots, both clean and dirty. But what it also does is it gives us the book values of crosswind components that we can really deal with. You know, accelerating, an experienced pilot, I landed this one time in 90-degree crosswind at 18 knots. It's not, I'm not landing at 45, I'm touching down at 55, but it can be done just like in all other airplanes appropriately. But by having the shorter wing, we'll have a demonstrated crosswind, 12 to 14, maybe 15 knots, which should be sufficient for just about anybody. And it's pretty impressive in a small airplane.
Cub Crafters is unique in that we can design, prototype, and certify and put into production an aircraft. There aren't very many companies in the world that can make that claim.
Powering the next generation of LSAs, Renegade Light Sport introduces the amazing LF26, 4-cylinder water-cooled, direct-drive, fuel-injected 91 horsepower D-motor aircraft engine. And yes, there is a 6-cylinder version in development. The aviation industry is far too automated and impersonal. Levels of care, service, and focus on customers have faded. Concierge provides premier customer care, leading our industry on a return to service. Find us at www.concierge.aero.
Well, let's face it, as pretty as it is, it wouldn't be worth anything if it didn't fly well. And we finally had the chance to go out and do a reasonable stability, control, and performance analysis of the airplane. And found an airplane that had very good control harmonies overall, good static stability profiles with fairly well-defined dynamic profiles to go with it. What I particularly like, it's got a very nice but not overwhelming roll rate. You got to lead hard with the rudder. I mean, it's definitely a rudder-dominated airplane. Very good pitch stability and a very good climb rate.
It was a good example of what we're capable of doing. It flies nice even at gross weight. She does fly a lot like a bigger aircraft. That's been the most common comment I have.
It's definitely a big airplane feel because we were doing 1,000 foot a minute or better part of 1,000 foot a minute all the way up through 3,000. Really like the low speed profile. It's got a very well defined high frequency, low amplitude buffet. a little bit of a pitch buck when your flaps up. You've got a little bit more of a brake there, but with flaps down, there's no brake to speak of. It's just kind of a mush through and off you go. Tap the rudders a little bit either side, and it may slide a little bit toward there, but there's no tendency to break off to the wing, at least with flaps down. It's a little bit less well-mannered. Flaps up, it'll slide off a little bit more, but there didn't seem to be any tendency towards starting an auto rotation right down in there. So good, solid little airplane, a lot of fun, very good control harmonies overall, and most important, just plain old fun to fly.
Yeah, and the visibility is great too. So that was something that amazed me, is we were able to have the composite section over the top of the canopy, which is great for, follically challenged guys like me. That keeps my head out of the sun, but with just a lean like this and look straight up, you can still see straight up to the sky. And having the back of the canopy covered also keeps the heat down in there. We did get to try out the heat a little bit. She's got good heat and good defrost in her, as well as good airflow. While we were even on the ground, we closed it and we had good airflow.
The takeoff is, nothing abnormal at all. Lighten the nose wheel a little bit, let it fly off in the 55, 60-ish range. 75 climb was very nice, although from a standpoint of departing the pattern, you might want 80 a little bit just to get a little bit more forward visibility. Coming back in was really sweet. Just, slowed it down to 75 or so and dropped the first 10 of flap, which worked very well in helping to maintain a decent speed regimen. But line up, carry just a little bit of power, bring it on down, and that last notch of flaps was great. Drag it over a little bit, just dive for the deck, no speed build up per se, and very easy to maintain center line. A little bit across from the left, not a problem at all. Just a little bit of aileron into it, and not even any need to super correct from there. So pretty neat little airplane. Barry, for people who are interested in the airplane, how can they get more information?
Contact me, Barry at Bristell.com, or call us at 210-393-2530.
Barry, thanks so much.
Thank you.